Hello. Today I'm going to talk about a starship made of words. This is the third to last chapter of my book, Philosophizer's Bible, and it's not about science fiction. Starship made of words. It's about the feeling you have as a writer, sitting in front of a blank page, that any words could come. The feeling that maybe something magical will happen, or something that you couldn't possibly have predicted. Words that will take you somewhere you've never been before. And the thought came into my head as I was preparing for this chapter, a memory of the Lord of the Rings movie and the Fellowship of the Ring at the Mines of Moria. And poor old Gandalf reciting spell after spell trying to get the doors to open. And he doesn't give up. He just goes through his entire book of spells and the doors don't open, and then Frodo solves the riddle. If only it was that easy. I don't believe that this is a riddle with a solution as such. But I do believe that wherever I'm trying to go, somehow words can take me there. They can. This book isn't quite the starship made of words that I would like to have constructed, but it promises more, maybe. I'm also going to talk about my dear friend Rachel Brown, to whom this book is dedicated. Rachel joined Pathways long ago, somewhere around 1998, 1999. I couldn't even find our first emails, and has been a loyal supporter for a long time, and died unfortunately on Christmas Day 2015. Anyway, let's get started. Rachel, I didn't include you amongst my vengeful ghosts, because I cannot think of you in any way except as smiling, encouraging, as you always were without fail. You were one of my earliest supporters as I strove to build my online philosophy school. Even when I made some dubious decisions, hilarious was your favourite adjective when things went wrong. It was you I wrote for, always. Now I scan my typewritten pages onto the computer and have them read out to me by a computer voice called Rachel, which I purchased for €15. That's actually, if you're interested, it's, and this is not an advertising plug, Infovox iVox. Extremely lifelike voices, but they don't have as big a vocabulary as the Mac. The voices sound better, but their vocabulary, you need to train them a bit before they pronounce words correctly, especially names of philosophers, things like that. The voice, Rachel, mimics that of a well-educated, intelligent Englishwoman, as you were, beautifully modulated. There's the occasional suggestion of a smile as she reads out a particular sentence or phrase. How did the computer know that was meant to be funny? I can almost hear a chuckle. I could swear that the voice Rachel understands what she is reading. So lifelike. Your voice was lower, huskier, but still close enough, as I remember from our all too few face-to-face meetings, for Rachel to send a shiver up my spine. All too often I will put down words on paper that look perfectly okay. Then the computer reads my own words back to me, and they sound strained, ridiculous. Whatever effect I was trying to bring off doesn't work at all. I contradict myself time and again. Why is it I can't see but can only hear? Another chapter in the waste bin. Back to square one. No worries. I'll get a bite to eat or make myself a coffee and try again. My dear friend, according to the physician who attended you, you passed away from a toxic combination of anorexia and alcohol abuse. I didn't realize how bad it was. Over the last year, I was puzzled by our email exchanges, but I never suspected the real reason why our discussions seemed constantly to go off at a tangent. In the final months, you had dementia. Rachel, I'm dedicating this book to you. Listen to me now as I talk to myself, rehearse thoughts that I've gone time and time again and yet cannot get past. You know, absolutely, that no form of words could ever be an adequate answer to the question. That's the point of Douglas Adams' 42, the answer to the life, the universe and everything given by the computer Deep Thought in A Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Why? Because whatever answer you give, the question that follows from that is that all there is? As in the pungent lyrics of Jerry Lieber and Mike Stoller. Peggy Lee's version of the song was a big hit in USA in 1969. I wrote about this in Philosophizer, The Dark Side of Life. Why the number 42 and not some other number? My half-jocular suggestion then was that 42 is the average age of a man or woman who first begins to ponder that question. Could be. According to urban legend, only one living person knows why Douglas Adams selected the number 42, and he's been sworn to secrecy. 1,001 times I've posed my idiotic conundrum, and 1,001 times the same answer has come back. Nothing. No answer. Blank. So it can't hurt to start somewhere else, anywhere rather than here. Be free. Be free. What does that really mean, anyway? Free from what? Or from whom? Or to do what? Consider the process. Thinking is a process, and writing is another process. Sometimes you can combine the two, but that's not necessary at all. It is perfectly possible to type without thinking when you're retyping paragraphs from a previous draft. Copy typing, it's called. At other times, my thoughts literally become words on a page, on a physical piece of paper as I'm thinking them. Isn't that an amazing thing? Who would have thought it possible? I love my typewriter. I did show you the typewriter in an earlier video. It's a Canon Typestar 7, if you're interested in getting one on eBay. This beautiful instrument is full of potential. I feel it. The first electronic model I bought on eBay had some problems, which I noted in Chapter 1 of Philosophizer, but this performs as well as it did when it was brand new, 30 years ago, plus some. I've tried heavy mechanical typewriters and noisy electric typewriters. The mechanical machines slow my dancing fingers to a plod. Cloppity clop. The electric machines are a constant assault on the eardrums. Clack, clack, clack. But this machine is whisper quiet. No changing ribbons because it types on thermal paper. How cool is that? And I can see half a line in a small rectangular screen and correct typos before they go down on paper. Thoughts come into my head, and simultaneously my fingers move and words appear. Any words. And if they are not the best words, if I've missed the target, then I can always produce more words and more. I will try again and again until I get it right. Well then, consider that any book that has ever been or will ever be written is just some Gödel number, some sequence of letters. Just like every possible chess game. It's out there. It exists. That thought leaves me speechless. And consider this. All the material required to construct an interplanetary starship capable of discovering and colonizing other solar systems, exists right here on this planet Earth, or maybe the Moon or Mars. All that is needed is to assemble the parts, and their parts, and their parts, etc. Imagine that you could track the journey of each atom and molecule of various metals, hydrogen, oxygen, silicon, carbon, and all the rest, as they slowly, inexorably moved closer and closer until finally they were combined together into this amazing structure that will finally set humankind free from imprisonment on this threatened planet. I have all the words in the English dictionary at my disposal, plus the ability to coin new words, new combinations of letters that have never been put together in that way before, if I need them. Maybe, just maybe, there is some incredibly creative combination of words, some finite number x, that would serve a similar purpose, not actually enabling travel to the stars, but as good as a starship made of words that would take me to another world, transform this absurd reality, make something of it, something meaningful, a home to live in, a new home, a thought world to inhabit. The world doesn't add up. I feel it in my bones. But that's not the question. I said before, feelings are just data. You feel what you feel. The real question is what to do about that feeling. What to do about the feeling? Well, and if we look around at human life generally, there are all sorts of things that people do. If they ever get that feeling, they find things to do about it, things to do. And religion, as I've said before, is very popular. And what other things are popular? The life of pleasure. That's the Lieber and Stoller song. Is that all there is? Is that all there is to love? If that's all there is, then let's keep dancing. Let's bring out the booze and have a ball, if that's all there is. So that would be another solution to the problem. Just have a good time, because you're never going to get an answer. So why waste all the effort? And so I want to build a starship made of words. This book isn't it, even though it does somehow feel like the last book I will ever write. I don't know. Maybe the inspiration will come later. Maybe I need to take a rest after all this, after I finish these videos. What else is there to do? Sometimes, as I said, waiting can be the best thing. When there really isn't anything useful to do, you wait, because waiting is an action too. Waiting is something you do with your time. You're attentive. You are ready, you're receptive to whatever may come. That's not such a bad thing. Waiting for the words, waiting for the inspiration, or whatever it may be. Yes, I'm just saying, in the next chapter I'm going to be talking about this idea, this feeling that a lot of people have, needing to be saved, or something that somehow makes life not even worthwhile but bearable, something that makes sense of human life. And of course, salvation has a very big meaning in various religions. But I can talk about salvation as well. you feel the need for salvation. That doesn't necessarily mean you're waiting for some saviour to come and save you. The salvation can come from an idea, from a new direction, from a new thought. Anyway, until then, goodbye.